We getting real serious, man. Relax, man. We gotta
Man, this dude,
relax. Just having a conversation. We just chilling.
Reese don't even know where he's at.
Yeah, I was looking
Reese be like this. He be like, "Y'all ready? All right, welcome to Back and Brown."
All right, fellas, man. Did y'all see the Mike Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight?
Yes, indeed, man. Spent that money for that card, for that concert/fight. It was pretty dope, man. I mean, honestly, the music was the difference. I mean, between fights, they had the little mini concerts, man. I like that. I like that touch to it a lot. It kept it engaging, you know.
Yeah, I saw the OG Snoop Dogg out there still crip walking and
Uncle Snoop.
blowing trees for the people. Yeah, he ain't lost a step.
Nah, he ain't never gonna let that go.
No, but his commentating, man, that was complete, just straight comedy, man.
Who, Snoop?
Snoop, he said, man, it's like watching my two uncles fight at the barbecue. Boy, it was funny,
Stupid,
man.
So Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., some 250-year-olds, basically still doing what they love. What y'all think of that?
Man, I was loving the whole thing, man. Especially with Tyson's approach to it. He was real humble. You know, Mike, he's Iron Mike. You know, he's that dude everybody was scared of. And he got that whole, he might hurt Roy, that whole thing. But he was so humble, man. I remember in the little pre-fight interviews, they were asking him, why are you doing this? What are you trying to prove? He was like, I'm trying to show that, you know, things I'm afraid of, I'm going to go ahead and just do it. That's how I've always been. If I'm afraid of it, I'm going to do it. The guy was like, what, you afraid? Tyson was like, yeah, I'm afraid, man. I'm 50-something years old, about to fight another grown man.
Yeah.
Just being real, you know. Mike was being real. Even after the fight, he was talking about, yeah, y'all worried about Roy. What about my head? You know, what about me? I can get hurt too, you know?
Yeah, it's not just a fight. It's you're a walking, living legend. And it's being broadcast for millions of people to dissect. So yeah, I mean, you know, the fear of being embarrassed basically is huge.
Yeah.
I think people forget that, like, although it's Mike Tyson and he's knocked out his fair share of individuals, he's also lost, right? He's also been scrutinized by the public. Like, you always, I don't care who you are, man, there's going to be a point in time where you're going to do something that brings a little fear to you. And I got to applaud Mike for being able to overcome that. I mean, you could tell in his training, like, I don't know if it was fear that was pushing him, the drive, the anticipation. Was probably a combination of it all. But I mean, he was doing work in his training from what I saw.
Yeah,
I didn't really catch out Roy Jones training like that, but Mike was on it.
And Mike's always been that way, though. Even back in the day, he was giving interviews. He always said he's afraid. He said, I'm getting to the ring, you know, walking up there, I'm afraid. I'm getting in the ring eye to eye, I'm afraid, until I see him break. You know what I mean? The thing, lesson here, we gotta make this philosophical, obviously, is him having that fear, but still going forward, doing what you gotta do. And the other thing about that is Iron Mike, you know, God of War, he is that dude we all know is that nobody want to fight him. You always say, like, hey, would you do 5 minutes in the ring with Mike Tyson? They're like, nah. And this dude is admitting, like, listen, I've been afraid. I'm afraid. It's okay. People got to get over that, especially as men, especially black men, is having that fear is okay. You know what I mean? But it's how you're going to react to that fear. Are you going to get there? You're going to fight? You're going to get there and you get knocked out? Or what are you going to do with that fear? That fear gets you going. You know, that fight or flight. And Mike's always said that, man. He's always had that fear. He says, yeah, I had it, but it's how you overcome that. He said it several times last night, you know, talking about that. And I just love that, man. It kind of humanizes him, how humble he is and who he is. Like, that's Mike Tyson talking about fear and how he overcame that fear. Because there's nothing more dangerous than two grown men trying to knock each other's head off.
Yeah, especially when you're 50. Yeah, especially when you're 50 years old.
One good hit, man.
Oh, it's over, man.
Yep.
But also, speaking of fear, it keeps you on your toes. You know what I mean? It keeps you sharp. So he's probably his senses was probably dialed to 10. But you know, he did it. He jumped over it and overcame that.
Yeah, it should keep you sharp. So the thing about fear, everything that I've ever feared, like endeavor, has paid off because is basically risk versus reward. And the more risk it is, the more chance it is to fail. And that's where the fear comes, because you know, the fear of getting hurt, the fear of losing money, the fear of being embarrassed. And I think that's the biggest one, is the fear of being embarrassed. So what should happen with that fear is to have you plan, you know, just plan super hard. So when I was going through my first class ever, it was speech class, and the guidance counselor or the college counselor was basically saying, this is the class everyone puts on hold and behind them because everyone's scared of it. So she's like, I highly recommend you do it first, you know. And I think that happens so much, especially like public speaking. So, you know, with public speaking, you got to prep for it. You know what I mean? If you're going to write a speech, go over it a few times, do it in the mirror. There's different tips, and even organizations like Toastmasters. And then the more you practice, the more you're confident. So no matter if, you know, what's the venue or how big the crowd is, public speaking, you're still going to have that fear. But when you're going prepared, like a fight or even investing, when you've done research on that company, that fear should subside because you're prepared.
Now that makes sense. You think about it like this: is your fear can be like a fear of scared, like I'm generally just scared, or fear of in a respectful caution. You know what I mean? And the more you prepare for something, it becomes more of a respectful caution. Meaning, you know, things can probably go a little bad, you know, but preparing for it, like you prepare for your class, it gives you more of a respectful caution than a I'm scared. You know what I mean? It kind of dissuades that a little bit. Like the same thing with Mike Tyson and them is that fear is not, I don't think it's a fear isn't I'm a tuck and run, but a fear more of I have a cautionary respect for this. You know what I mean? I know the dangers of it. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm invincible. You know what I mean? That's what I think is what the difference is having that that actual scared feeling or that respectful caution.
Yeah. See, and then on the flip side of being respectfully cautious, that fear can also develop a false bravado, right? So you see those guys where and then we're talking about boxing, we could talk about guys jumping in the ring. It's like a false bravado where they jump in the ring and they're too cocky, right? And to us, we're like, oh man, this dude he thinks he's about to beat this guy, but internally he could be scared as hell,
right?
You know, and just kind of showing out, and that's how he deals with his fear. To me, when you approach fear that way, then the level of embarrassment and the percentage of actually being embarrassed if it goes the opposite way that you want it to go is higher. You know, so me personally, I've never been that way. If I'm fearful, I'm not going in with this cocky attitude. Like, you're probably gonna know I'm a little nervous.
What was that? Remember when Martin fought Tommy Hearns? And he was in the ring like, you the champ.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna take that away from you.
They was memeing Nate Robinson on that, man, too, using that same meme. Oh, man.
They did that boy Nate wrong. So what did y'all think about that card? What y'all think about that match, Nate Robinson and Logan?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't follow. I don't know Jake Paul too much. I know who he is as a person.
Paul. Yeah.
Say what? Say what?
I said Logan, but yeah, my bad. It was
Jake brother. Paul. Yes, Logan's brother. But I didn't know too much. I know who they are, but I don't really follow them too much. And I went there like, oh, who's this dude? Who's this clown from YouTube? But I can't say that no more, man, because he put that dude, and I say to sleep, he put him to sleep.
He got
hit him the first time, man, hit him in the forehead, he knocked it on the ground. He got up, he was already out. His eyes were looking like Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, Glade,
He was looking, he was looking like he was looking all kinds of sleepy-eyed. Then that second hit he hit him, bro, he was, man, Liza Featherstone was aboard. He hit that, he hit that floor.
Hey, Forrest Whitaker, man, if you're ever on our show, ever in the future, I apologize in advance. I personally don't think your eyes are that messed up. But either way, yeah, man. So I didn't watch the card, but I know I saw Jake's training videos and you know, like reporters were actually saying like, no, this dude is like taking his training serious.
Really?
You know, like he really does it. Yeah, I think he boxes and he does MMA.
He got some fights under him already.
Yeah.
I think he's
like,
undefeated. Yeah,
like
and he's a
takes
big
this
dude,
serious.
a solid dude. You can tell he's in shape.
He's in shape. He's working.
Yeah. Both him and his brother are both pretty solid. I think his brother played football in high school or something like that. But they're solid dudes. They're not small. And you know, Nate is only 5'9". Nate is a solid dude too, though.
Solid.
He's pretty solid. He's kind of built like a running back, but
he played quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. I think he played college football too. But he's just a freak of nature, Nate Robinson.
He is. Nate is a freak of nature, man.
Dude's 5'9" and won 2 slam dunk contests.
Like, dunking. Just jumping out of nowhere.
Dunking. Yeah. And I mean, you got to think Nate is probably what, our age? He's got to be, right?
Around there,
yeah. And then the younger brother, I mean, he's probably in his 20s. That plays a difference, man. That makes a difference.
Yeah. And Reese, you boxed, man, so you know what kind of feeling they had. You know what I mean? You've been in that ring, man.
So it's not a good feeling at all. Especially because you know when you spar, the first time you spar is crazy. The first time you throw the gloves, even with headgear, it's like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? That dude's coming at you, you throwing it. It's different. Hitting the bag, the speed bag, shadow boxing, all that stuff, and then you get in the ring. And they like, hey, go at it. You know what I'm saying? Do this 1, 2, 3. You know, combos. And then I boxed one time for like a charity. We got they gave us an amateur card and everything, so it could be sanctioned. And then walking out and seeing I think about 300 people.
Ooh.
And the bright lights. I was
I know.
So kind of like what you said, Hakeem. I had to play like I was super confident.
Yeah.
I even did the showman. I put the like Mike Tyson temporary tattoo on my face, but
no, he did.
Bro, it was real, man. It was real, and it's crazy because like when I was telling you about prepping and everything, I had that adrenaline dump, like man, like mentally I knew what to do, but my body was just so exhausted just from that anxiety that I couldn't execute.
It gets you hyped up, man. I remember my first fight, going out there. This dude was a little smaller than me, and people always say, "Oh, you can get this dude." I'm like, I don't know this guy what he has. I don't know what's going on. My whole fear, I had a fear of this. Do not get knocked out in front of people that are coming to see you. Just do not get knocked out. I don't care who you are, who you facing. I don't care who it is. You can have that little bit of fear when you get in there, especially when you get people watching you, people looking around you. I remember I was in that first, it was first or second fight, I can't remember which one it was. But my corner man, Clint Godfrey, shout out to Clint Godfrey, he's a WC fighter, he kept saying, I kept hearing him say, cross hook. I just kept throwing jabs because my mind was not connecting what he was saying, man, to do what he told me to do. I couldn't do it. My mind was just shutting down. Because when you're in there, you got a plan. But when that adrenaline's pumping, somebody's trying to knock your head off and you in there moving around, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And this is facts. When somebody's trying to hit you, your plans go out the window. Unless you super trained fighter, man, you got to adjust. Yeah. And that's what Tyson said too. Same thing, man. He had a plan. When he got hit, he had to adjust. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I've only sparred one time, man. I sparred one time, and that was enough for me. And it's crazy because, I mean, growing up, we've been in fights, right? I think we've all been in fights as kids, teenagers. It's just different when you're an adult because I think after seeing people get knocked out, I'm like, I'm not trying to get knocked out, man. And even with headgear, I was still like a little nervous. Like, man, if he hits me the wrong way, he can still put me to sleep because the guy was bigger than me. He was 6'2" or something like that. He was just a really small dude, but he still had that reach. And I mean, it all the training in the world thrown out the window. All that training done. Yeah. As soon as he hit me, I'm like, man, I forgot how to fight.
Especially it was your first fight, man.
Did you get rattled at all?
You know what? I was rattled going in, like getting set up.
No,
and like,
no. Rattled, not shaking. Like rattled mean like you got hit on this side of your head and your brain shifted.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I would say the first punch definitely, like, it did, yeah, it rattled me a little bit, but it kind of woke me up though. Like that hit like woke me up. And then I was good. It's kind of like what I think Jason, or no, Maurice, you was talking about doing a speech class. It's kind of like doing a speech. For me, I'm nervous. I got butterflies until the first word comes out, and then it kind of like smooths out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's how it was with my sparring match. Granted, I wasn't in an actual boxing match like you, Reese, but after the first few hits, I'm like, okay, I'm good. This ain't too bad. I don't want to get knocked out, but it ain't too bad.
Right.
So you got to respect, everyone who was out there last night because, Nate Robinson, very accomplished NBA player. That maybe say he overachieved. Mike Tyson, the same thing, living legend. Same thing with Roy Jones Jr. But they're still out there. That's still not good enough. So they're still accomplishing their goals, and living their best life. So when it comes to goals for you, basically, how do you execute a goal? And what's the difference between a goal and a dream?
I know for me, when I was younger, I didn't do it the right way. My goals back in the day weren't actually goals; they were dreams. Those dreams are things that you want to accomplish, but you don't do anything towards to accomplish those things. You just dream about it. You just say, "Hey, I want to, be able to buy $1 million house," but then I just sit there and play Xbox all day. You know what I mean? It's not. This is a dream. I think a goal is more of a thing that's it's more action oriented. If I say I want to do these things, then cool. Then I'm gonna get up and do certain things. If I say I'm gonna do a podcast with my boys, I'm gonna set my alarm and get up on time to make sure I'm there on time to go ahead and film it. You know what I'm saying?
Preach.
I'm just saying. I didn't say nothing.
Why y'all throwing shots, man?
No, you go and make actions towards those goals.
He's still wiping out cold from his eyes.
I am. But it's cool though. I'm here.
He said, Nate going to sleep? I'm going to sleep too.
Yeah, I was sleeping just like Nate.
That's the thing though. It's just setting those actions. Goals have actions, dreams do not. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
It's okay to dream because your goals start with the dream. You gotta have a dream. I want to do this. But then that dream has to come into goals, and those goals have to come into little actions. And you got to take steps to reach those goals, and those goals will become your dreams. But if you're just dreaming, you can sit there all day and dream. If I'm sitting, I can dream all day. If I'm not doing anything, that's all it is. It's just a dream. And a lot of good ideas, a lot of dreams are in the graveyard right now because people did not take action and do anything with it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I look at it as dreams is like where I want to be, right? That's like, no kidding. The perfect world, that's my dream, right? Perfect world, this is where I would like to be in my dreams. The goals, like you said, are the actionable, attainable tasks and accomplishments that you can actually turn into fruition. I kind of look at it like, y'all know I'm studying for my project management certification. So I look at it like your dreams are like your project, right? That's like, no kidding, end project. Is it attainable? If it's not too crazy, it probably is. So your goals are like your work packages, your decomposed work packages. What's attainable? What can you actually accomplish today, tomorrow, a year from now? Your dream is probably, okay, where do I want to be 20 years from now, right? Still a dream. Is very far away. Is it attainable? Let's make it attainable. Let's take the baby steps to get there. So I don't necessarily like to discount dreams because you see people that are in high places today that probably dreamt, they had dreams of that. I could see myself as president of the United States, as Barack Obama, I mean, at a time, it probably was just a dream. Took baby steps, certain goals, and he was able to obtain, obtain his dreams. So I don't think that all dreams are unattainable. I think you just have to make them realistic, and you could probably attain them. You just got to take baby steps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of my favorite Drake lines, and something like, there ain't nothing I'm gonna wait for. I'm the type to say a prayer and go get what I just prayed for. You know what I mean? And that's, I think, as simple as that. And when you try different things and you accomplish certain goals, your goals get bigger. You realize, dang, I did that. You know what I'm saying? It was you can almost call it a dream of mine. I thought, this wouldn't happen until I was this stage, or, this was just side. And then when you accomplish that, that should open you up to, well, damn, I can do anything. And it's just like kind of what we were talking about. I mean, just have those milestones, but you gotta have a plan to reach them, or they'll just stay dreams, So I think also understanding your purpose in life, and, figuring out, being on a mission is totally different when you are on a path to basically becoming what you feel what you're destined to be. I think that really, and I think a lot of people out here don't have that. They don't have that purpose. So, that cliche quote, there's two, you're born two times, the day you're born, and then the day you realize why you were born, or something like that. I think that's so profound and so true.
And that's hard too, to get to that point where you know your purpose, or you feel you know your purpose. Because a lot of people spend their whole life not understanding what their purpose is. So I think part of that is actually trying to figure out what your purpose is. Trying to figure those. That's why you got to be diverse in what your life, what you're doing. Because how do you know what your purpose is unless you try out or expose yourself to a bunch of things? You don't. Your purpose is to start an orphanage, but you never been to an orphanage, in a different third world country. How do you know? You don't know these things until you go out there and experience them. Something you said about Drake's quote that I thought about, and talk about how, him with prayer. It's the same thing with prayer. If you pray without action, you're just wishing. And that's not my check. God is not a genie. You know what I mean? A lot of people want to sit and pray and just not do anything, but you have to take action on that. You can't just sit back and not do anything. You have to be mobile. You have to express some energy. You have to move to do something, whether it's moving your mouth to have a conversation, whether it's going to meet new people, whatever it is, to reach your goals. It's got to be energy expend. I mean, you can't just sit there and just hope. Hope without yourself is nothing.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because I was actually going to bring that point up. So I got a few friends and family members that when it comes to accomplishing or making a life change, I always hear this: I'm gonna put it in God's hands. Personally, I hate that quote. I hate when people say that, because it makes it sound like, hands off.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do nothing. It'll come to me, and that's not how it works. That's not how life works. If you're a religious person, what have you, that's why you have free will, right? That's why you have the ability to make decisions. You can't be passive in trying to obtain and accomplish goals. And a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot of people, some people just fall into that mind state that, hands off, I'm gonna put it in God's hands. You're not gonna accomplish anything like that. And also, something that you also brought up was, actionable in the sense of just something as mundane as opening your mouth and speaking to someone. The old adage, closed mouths don't get fed, right? Have a conversation. You never know who you're gonna meet. Networking is huge. You never know who you're going to meet. And I've experienced that a few times. Talk, have a conversation, open your eyes to speaking to someone that you probably wouldn't normally speak to. You might learn something, it might change your perspective on things,
right.
and, help you find out, what you want to do or a goal that you want to obtain.
Yeah, I got a friend of mine. You probably don't want me to mention her, but I'm doing it anyways. A friend of mine, Angela, and she is the master. The
You
master.
name drop it.
Hey, I got to give her first name. I ain't give her last name. She know what I'm talking about.
He
She's the
said,
master of networking,
she
man.
may not want to say it, but
Right.
I want to hide her identity, so let's call her Angela.
I want to get her on the pod, man, because I say she's a genius, man. She is a genius. She knows how to connect with people and how to make connections, talk to people, and network. And she's introduced me to people that I would never even dream of meeting or talking to because of how she is. But because me and she and I talk, on a regular, is that I'm exposed to, to her talent of being able to meet people. You know what I mean? Be able to connect people. She has that thing because she's mobile. She's active. Like I had to get back on religion again, but you talked about it. The phrase is walk with faith, not stand with faith. You gotta be moving. It takes action, it takes energy. You know what I mean? Locomotion. You gotta keep moving. And she's the epitome of that. How she's always constantly moving and talking and moving and shaking and making things happen. And that's one thing I have a weakness of is I stay in my bubble a little bit too much. You know what I mean? But I'm learning that through her, be able to get out more and conversate even more. Even though we do a good job, we're three men that have goals and we're driven and we do things. We're active, with each other in our chat, in our group. But you can always get better. You can always improve and
for sure,
reach out even more, and talk to more people. You know what I mean? Because you never know what conversation, what meeting, what connection is going to take you to the next level, take you to where you want to go next. You never know. You can't do that in a pod. You can't in a small little pod by yourself, and you can't do that in isolation. You have to be out and you have to be doing things and having conversations, even ones that are uncomfortable. You have to be moving. So the biggest thing with this whole thing is when you got goals, got to be moving. What are you going to do tomorrow to reach that goal you have a week from now? Every day should be some step towards reaching a goal that you have set. If not, you're just dreaming and dreaming. It happens when you're sleeping and sleeping is not moving.
No, you're right. Even with this podcast, I remember watching my girls' podcast and I hit you up like, man, you know what I mean? I got all these ideas and it's like, yo, write them down. Like, what do you mean? All these ideas, write them down.
Do it.
Let's get to it. And, obviously when I started writing them down, you started brainstorming and it just filled up my whole notepad. And I was like, man, I got to get to it because it's just too much going on. But, I was literally just sitting there. All I do is watch pods and basically it's just inspiring me and giving me these ideas. And I'm just, keeping them in my head and like, man, I can't wait till even 2021, can't wait to launch it then. And, there was no reason to wait. There was no reason
to go ahead and do it.
Yeah. And I got two real close friends, good friends that are kind of like Angela. So one is Doppel that you met, and my other boy is Paris in Atlanta. And them dudes are so, I think they don't understand the gift they have where they can go up to anybody, like, to from women to the person behind the cash register to, the parking attendant to a homeless person and literally just chop it up like, what's going on? How you doing? You know what I mean? Like they've known them for years. And I mean, if you could turn that gift and monetize it, or you could, have that gift have an impact and help change the world, then you're on to something, you know what I mean? But that's something they have to deal with, they get something that they have to understand that's not like everyone else, so like Mike Tyson, the way he hits is not like everyone else. So, yeah. So what's some of your personal goals and dreams that you guys got right now?
I got one right now. A lot of people know about it already. Is to be able to feed my family without having to go to the store. It's kind of a weird thing, I want to be able to grow as much as I can or raise as much as I can as far as food and things like that in my backyard. So I started this process about 2 years ago, and it takes a lot of work to get there. I always thought you just plant some seeds and you're good, and that's it. No, when I say it's a whole other job, it's a whole different lifestyle that I didn't realize, but I'm learning from it. You know what I mean? To get to that point where you're trying to, sustain the majority of what you eat in your backyard, it's no easy task. But it takes that, that little bit of planning, and then you have the seasons. You get a plan around the seasons, and little things matter. Like the weather matters so much more to me now. 7 days out, the weather matters to me. Before it was like, do I wear a raincoat today, or do I need put a beanie on? Now it's deeper than that. What's the humidity outside going to be? How much sunshine we're going to have? Or, what's the rainfall, and is it too much? Is it too little? The small other things matter to you when you got a different kind of goal, and this is gonna be a long-term type of thing. It's gonna be like a couple years, because it takes a while for certain things to grow. So this goal is gonna be like it's long-term, one of the long-term things, and it takes a lot of work, more work than I thought. Put it like that, a lot more work than I thought. My wife thought too, so she ain't too happy about some things I gotta do. But hey, I got goals.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's really cool. For me, it's not as exciting as creating your own livable food source and all
man,
that.
Exciting, man. It's boring. That's the problem, man. It's not exciting.
For me, I would say my short-term goal, and I think Reese, you know this, man, is like I said before, I'm going for my PMP certification. That is a certification that I really want. So I've been studying my butt off. Test again in about a month. So it's the short-term goal. My dream is transitioning from the military and having a successful civilian career. That's my dream. So with different avenues, with different revenue streams. So we got our business. I got a couple of personal things I'm trying to accomplish. We got the podcast, civilian career. Like that's the dream, is those multiple sources of income successfully. But obviously it goes back to baby steps. We're 5 episodes deep. You know what I mean? We're making moves with our personal company, and then obviously those personal goals I'm trying to obtain. So that's where I'm at.
What is it? Do you have either you kind of realized your purpose yet?
You know what? That's a good question, because we've talked about this before, you and I, Reese. And in regards to, I think you found your purpose. Jason, I think you found your purpose too, because you're very involved with kids. Obviously, you're a teacher. I don't know what my purpose is yet. I know what I like to do.
Right.
I just don't know if that's my purpose. Is there anything wrong with that? No, not at all. I mean, it's still got some living to do, but I don't know. I it's hard for me to say, because I like to do a lot. There's a lot of different things that I've done in the past that I genuinely like to do, like building computers. I like IT. I like building computers. Do I see that as my purpose? I don't know. I don't know yet. Mm-hmm. It's hard to say.
Yeah, when you know, you know,
there's no question. There's no question.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I'm not sure. I think you'll figure it out. What about you, Jason?
Yeah, you think about it a lot, and it'll be the thing on the forefront of your mind. It'll drive you. I don't think you have to have one purpose. I don't think you have to have that one single thing that's going to be a purpose in life. I don't think that's realistic. I think it'd be based on your environment and what your skills are. If you have certain skills that you develop over a certain period of time, your purpose is going to change. You know what I mean? Like you said, I love educating children. You know what I mean? Like, so they can get information I didn't have when I was younger at an earlier age. So if I know it, I want them to know it. If I learn something new, I want them to know something new. And I don't know if that's my purpose or not, but it's my passion. So I don't know if it's purpose and passion has to be the same thing. So I'm not sure if I found my exact purpose yet. Like I know what I want to do, but I don't know if it's the exact thing I should be doing. And if anybody gets to that point, you know, good on you. You have made it. And I don't know if I've even gotten there yet. You know, I'm still trying to figure that out. You know what I mean? So I know what I like to do, but I know what I think I should do, but I don't know if I know exactly what my purpose is just yet.
Is it safe to say that you may not ever realize your purpose and it just happens? You know what I mean? Like, even though you said, okay, it may be in the forefront of your mind, but do you think that there are instances where you may not understand your purpose per se? You're doing it, actively doing it, and let's say you pass, and people are like, "No, that was his passion. That was he was meant to do that." You see that
yeah.
sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, he was meant to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of like recording artists or like athletes where they say, you know, a fan comes up to them and they're like, yo, this album got me through a divorce or a death, or, you know, an athlete hearing that, you know, a kid with leukemia is trying to stay alive, to see them win a Super Bowl, or even Chadwick Boseman,
Chadwick Boseman,
Black Panther. You know, what's crazy is he actually had cancer, and he was going to children's hospitals, talking to kids with cancer. You know, when he passed away, a clip resurfaced when he was talking to children basically on their deathbeds, saying that, you know, they just want to stay alive to see, you know, the Black Panther movie. So you may not understand your purpose until you realize, and I think your purpose has to it has to be like spread, like other people have to benefit from it.
Exactly.
So I just want tons of money in the bank. Yeah, but yeah, you're absolutely correct.
You might have to define your purpose too. I mean, you have to find out, say, my purpose is going to be this. I think there's nothing wrong with that either. Just say, my purpose is going to be this, and you're going to go towards that goal, trying to create that purpose and make sure that purpose goes through and helps other people. So it could be that way too, where you just find it. You know what I mean? You find that thing that you're good at, and that becomes your purpose. I don't know. I'm of the mind of, I don't think it's just some cosmic thing. You got to sit there and wait to be told what your purpose is. You got to be active, and you got to seek it out, and based on your circumstances and interactions and relationships. Like I said, those skills you develop, I think your purpose starts to manifest itself. Now, if you're doing things in the right way, like you should be, right people you're talking to, right relationships, then your purpose is going to find you. You know what I mean? It's going to come based on the things you're doing actively. I don't think you just sit, like I said, you don't sit there in the basement playing Xbox, and all of a sudden, yeah, that's my purpose. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen like that, man.
Yeah.
It's not Hollywood.
My purpose is to get the highest score ever on Call of Duty.
Right.
Yeah.
Who knows? That might be it for some people.
That might be your purpose, man. People are getting paid.
Though, you know?
Hey, people are getting paid the game. So
yeah, man. My thing
if it is, find a new purpose at the age of 21, because you're an adult. Never. We're not here to judge.
You gotta help somebody, man. Society, something. You know what I mean? I haven't read that book though. I read it a long time ago. I can't remember the thing in the Purpose-Driven Life. I can't really talk on the book itself. It says, but you gotta have a purpose to drive you. You gotta have something. You gotta, whether it's a goal or some kind of purpose. Because if not, you know, like I said before, you're not moving. And what are you actually doing? You're just existing. You know what I mean? Difference between existing and living. Existing, you just eat, sleep, do the other thing. You got a purpose and you got a goal, and you're active. You're doing something. You got some reason to get up in the morning, and not just to go to your job. That's not your purpose. Not to get up, you know, get your alarm, drive to work 8 hours, come home, eat, sleep, do the same thing. That's not life. That is not a purpose. That is something you're doing to sustain your life, to help you, you know, pay your bills, do things you have to do. But that is not a purpose.
Yeah,
now,
for the necessities.
Yeah, but that W-2 job or job you're doing, that can help, you know, help your purpose later on. But that's, I'll tell you right now, going to every day doing the same routine is not your purpose. That's not it. You got to find it. You got to find something else.
Another Drake bar. He basically said,
in the book of Drake, chapter 1,
right?
It's like Kendrick Lamar.
That moment for life, he was like, you know, everybody dies, but not everybody lives. Like that's crazy. So, you know, earlier this year with the COVID, when we started talking about the, you know, the market and, you know, investing and options, and then, you know, just me just sitting there having an idea, like I'm being in 3 different chats and like, yo, let me combine this chat. And then it, you know, grew. And then every time we had like a Zoom meeting, people hit me up on the side, like, yo, this is a great, kind of like a great movement. And damn, I was like, really like, man, this is, you know what I'm saying? It was just a quick idea where 20 dudes overnight just came in one chat and that's all we talked about. And then the next week it was 50. And then, you know, when we added women, it just exploded. And then it's like, man, okay. So now it's at the point where, you know, I mentioned before in the other pod that, you know, watching E.T. Eric Thomas, like the hip hop preacher, the motivational speaker, where he's like, you know, every morning he wakes up before his alarm clock because he knows he has stuff to do. And it's like, man, I'm at that point now, like when I want to take a nap, my body won't, I have so much stuff running in my head when I want to, you know, and it's annoying, but I set my alarm clock, I'm waking up 15, 30 minutes before. Then before I would fight it, you know what I'm saying? I would try to lay back down, but now I embrace it because it's like, I get it. I got stuff to do. I need to move. I understand the mission, the purpose. You know, I don't understand the end goal. So I feel like it's to inspire, especially when it comes to, you know, financial literacy and economics and I'm not exactly sure how to do it, but I know like I just need to every day, I just need to put effort towards it. And, you know, hopefully one day, you know, it'll just really have an impact to those that I'm reaching, you know.
I think so I kind of talked about this in my last gym was, you know, we humans, we tend to focus on a lot of the negative that happens in our life, a lot, right? It usually outweighs the good. We forget about all the good times that we had off of one bad thing. You know what I mean? You could have, let's say you get in a car accident, right? You get in a car accident, like, oh, my whole week is messed up, right? Like, no, not necessarily, right? It sucks, but you'll get over it. We just tend to forget about the little, you know, the little successes that we hit. I think that is very important with staying motivated. Like, don't forget about the good that happens.
Cool. All right, so let's give the people something tangible to take away with them when it comes to achieving their goal or even setting goals.
I got
write it down.
Go ahead. You want to go? Write them down. First one, get up early, get up on time. No.
Yeah. First off, set your alarm. I would say write it down, man. I took Jason's suggestion in, you know, starting a journal. I write, you know, not only do I reflect and like talk to myself on, you know, how I want the data to end or, you know, the outcome of what I think the day should go. I write my goals down, you know, anything that comes to mind, even the small things, even the small tasks that I want to accomplish at work, I write them all down. And it just helps me stay focused and it helps me try to obtain those goals.
Yeah, the suggestion I have for them is the same thing. Write those goals down, that you really know what you're going to do. But at the same time, write down what it takes to meet those goals. Don't just write down a goal to say, my goal is to do this. All right, for me to meet these goals, I need to do this daily. I need to do this weekly. I need to do this monthly. That way you can measure your success by those micro tasks that are going towards your goal and write those down. Wherever your goal is, all right, now figure out next, what does it take to reach that goal? That way you know if you're on track or not, or you know, if you gotta, you're behind, you gotta do a little adjustment. Write those things down and hold yourself accountable. When you have it on paper and you put it pen to paper, you're gonna see it. It's gonna hold you accountable. Like, man, I haven't done this in like 6 months. I haven't done anything to reach their goal at all. I need to change some things. You know what I mean? And then hold yourself accountable to it. You know what I mean? Write in your journal. You write it down. Today, I didn't do anything towards what I want to do today. Tomorrow, I gotta adjust and do it better. You know what I mean? Hold yourself accountable.
And what I would highly recommend is be mentally prepared to understand that it's not going to be easy. So if you are fat and you're trying to lose 30 pounds, you didn't get fat overnight. So it's going to take a while to basically lose that weight. If you got 20,000 in debt, you didn't get that overnight. So it's going to take some time to chip away at that. And then, because it's just real frustrating when people say they want to do something and then you follow up with them and then they're like, I hit this wall, so I stop. Or and you're just thinking to yourself, like, why wouldn't you expect that? Of course that would have happened.
Yeah.
And things happen, like, I'm going to school, blah, blah, blah. How's school going? Well, I stopped going because I had to work late or work start. Okay, you know what I mean? Go to bed earlier, so you can wake up early and do your homework. Like that's given. You know what I mean? Why'd you stop investing? Why'd you stop saving? Well, it was Christmas time. Had to buy gifts or my car broke down. Like that stuff happens,
Right.
So I would just mentally prepare that it's going to be a journey. And anything that's worth it, it's going to be hard, and just understand that so you can alleviate those excuses, push through, and then once you get to the finish line, it's worth that much more because you push through all of that adversity.
Exactly.
Cool. I dig it.
All right. So that's all we have. We appreciate you joining us. Make sure you like it and hit the subscribe button. Peace.